everyone, this is Doris from the Art Nature Center at the Peabody Essex Museum, and today I'm going to show you how to make a beautiful bouquet for Mother's Day. So I have 3 different types of flowers here. I'm going to start by showing you how I made the stem for these flowers. You can use a chopstick, a pencil, a straw, anything you'd like for the stem. So these stems are made out of just a piece of paper that's rolled up to make a straw shape. So I always start with a triangle, and I start from the point of the triangle here and just roll that along like this. So once I've got it started, I can just push forward with my fingers down here. And at this point, I put a little bit of glue down to seal it up. So, and I finish rolling. And then I put a piece of tape on either end there, just to keep it secure. And one on this end. Then I have a stem. I can trim one side flat, and I like to trim the other side at an angle, just like you would if you were preparing some flowers to go into a bouquet of water. The first flower I'm going to show you is a daisy, like this blue one. And this flower starts with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, which is just regular printer paper or construction paper. And I start by folding it in half, like this, because I don't want super duper long petals, and the width of my paper determines how long those petals are. So I'm going to now just cut this in half right along that crease. I'm going to fold up a little edge at the bottom, about an inch or so, and crease that. This way I have a line that shows me where to cut to without having to mark the paper with a pencil. If you do want everything to be super even, you can use a ruler and you can mark how wide you want your petals and then draw the lines on. I'm going to just eyeball it because it's not super important that it's perfect. So I'm making my petals about the width of the stem actually. And you're cutting right up to that line that you folded. Alright, once you have finished cutting your flaps all the way across, you're going to take one of your stems and place it right at one end of the petals. I'm going to put a little bit of glue here and start wrapping till you reach the end. And when you get to the end, put a little bit more glue and fasten that down. Now you'll want to let the glue set for a minute before you move on to the next step, which is curling the petals away from the center of the flower. There's a couple ways you can do this. You can just pull them away with your fingers so it opens up a little more. You can roll them on a pencil, or you can use the edge of your scissors to curl them, just like you might for ribbon when wrapping a present. You don't have to curl your petals. If you like them going straight up, you can leave them that way, and you can also just curl a few of them on the outside, and that makes a pretty cool flower. So in order to cover this hole in the middle here, I'm just going to curl a couple of these the opposite way. Forward instead of back. There we go. So that is the first flower, which looks something like a daisy, so that's what I've been calling it. The second flower I'm going to show you is this big fluffy one, which to me looks like a peony. So that's what we're going to call this one. To make the peony, you need some tissue paper, and you need a few layers of it. You can make a full-size tissue paper sheet into a flower like this, but it's a lot to work with. So I have cut my sheet down into squares, like so. And for this one, I've got 3 different colors of paper. So to start the peony, you want to make sure your 3 squares are stacked over each other pretty evenly so it looks like one sheet basically, so they don't overlap on those edges. And I am going to accordion fold these sheets together. Starting from one end, I'm going to fold a little bit up, and then I'm going to fold it under. and folding this part down, and you want to fold it down the same amount so it becomes one even strip. So you can do it by flipping the paper like this, or you can do it just going like that and pushing the paper with your thumbs. Now tissue paper is pretty easy to rip, so be careful. You can see I just ripped that one, but it will be okay. And the last bit underneath. Now I want to secure this in the middle. If you have some string, you can tie a knot right there. I have a stapler, so I'm just going to staple the middle here. And now I'm going to fold my two sides up, and I'm going to cut a round edge here that will make the edges of the petals. You can see that they're round on this flower here. Now I can hold the middle of the flower and start opening up those layers of tissue paper, and that will become the petals of the flower. And there's my petal that ripped. But when it's all fluffed up, you can't even tell. So from here, I want to attach this flower to a stem. So here's my stem. I'm going to place it there and put some glue on it. And then just pinch the flower around the stem to let it dry. And there is your peony. If you don't have gift wrapping tissue paper, you can probably do this with an actual tissue. Or maybe even if you have a paper napkin, you can pull apart and use those. The third flower that I have to show you all today is a Origami Lily. We need a square piece of paper. If you have origami paper, you can use that. If you don't have origami paper, square paper, you can make some just like this. I luckily have some origami paper right here, so I'm going to use this to make the lily. I want to fold my bottom corner up to my top corner and crease my paper there. I'm going to unfold this triangle, turn my paper, and fold this corner to corner now. So I am going to fold each of these corners up to that center point. Now I have a new square here, and I'm going to take these corners and fold them up to the center. So turn it on the diagonal again, take this corner, and put it right to that middle. And it is okay if you get a little bit of a gap like I have here. If it's a super big gap, you might want to try folding it again. Now I'm going to flip over this square and fold the corners to the middle one last time. So this will be the trickiest because it's getting pretty thick now. Turn it, take this corner up. All right, I've done all 4 corners on this side. Now I'm going to lift these corners up and fold them almost back, but I'm leaving a little bit of the paper still folded this way. So a little triangle goes over that edge. And I'm going to do it on each of these flaps. I can line up my flaps by these corners here to make sure they're even. So see how now this is a triangle and there's a straight line across there? That's what I'll try to do for each one. Line it up with this corner and press. Now this one. Line it up with those corners and press. This is the bottom of our lily. So I'm going to flip it over again, and I'm going to open up all of these flaps. These are going to create the petals. So I'll lift up this one and fold it back and crease it so it will stand up like that. It's tricky to see. So picking up these, folding them back and creasing them so they stay up there, all the way around the square. And now you'll see there are 4 more corners to lift up and fold back. And these ones will be across between those petals. And if you have a paper that has a pattern on one side and not the other, you'll probably open up to the plain white like I have here with this origami paper. So I'm lifting up these flaps and folding them back. Here is my water lily. Now I want to make this have a stem so that I can put it in with my other flowers in the bouquet. So I am just going to put some glue on the back here and glue a stem right to it. Hold your stem in the glue till it starts to get tacky, because it really doesn't want to stay there. Once it starts to really hold on, you can flip it up while you let it dry. I have a nice little vase that I'll put it in until it dries and can join the other flowers without accidentally falling off. So now you'll see I have just doubled the amount of flowers in my bouquet. Looks really great. You can make as many as you like and add them to your bouquet. Something that is really great about flowers is they improve your mood when they're in the house. So even if they're just paper flowers, they should make you feel better when you see them and interact with them during the day. Once you've made your flowers, if you want to try an experiment with them, where if you add scent to your flowers and try different colored paper and different textures, you can write down how they make you feel in a little chart that we've made for you. Check out PEM's Get Creative at Home section on the PBD website, which is pem.org, and find the Mother's Day Bouquet project. I worked on this project with our staff neuroscientist, Teddy Asher, so be sure to check that out. Share with us at #pempod and #PBD Essex. Have a great Mother's Day. Bye!